The goblin shark is not just unusual, it's ancient. Long before humans walked the earth, before modern oceans took their current shape, this creature was already here. Scientists estimate that the goblin shark's lineage dates back more than 100 million years. That places it in the age of dinosaurs, a time when massive reptiles ruled both land and sea. While countless species have evolved, adapted, or gone extinct over millions of years, the goblin shark has remained almost unchanged. It didn't need to evolve drastically. It was already built perfectly for survival in the deep. Its scientific name, Phainmitsucarina austoni, connects it to a family of sharks that once thrived across prehistoric oceans. Today, it stands alone, the last surviving member of that entire lineage. Think about that for a second. Every other relative gone. Every branch of its family tree extinct, except this one. The goblin shark is what scientists call a living fossil, not because it's frozen in time, but because it has successfully carried ancient traits into the modern world. And those traits are not random. They are highly specialized for a life far below the surface. In a place where survival is anything but easy, over millions of years, the deep ocean has remained one of the most stable environments on Earth. No sunlight, little change, extreme pressure. In a world like that, evolution slows down. Creatures don't need to constantly adapt, only to refine what already works. And the goblin shark is a perfect example of that principle. Its long, flattened snout, its soft body, its unique jaw structure, these are not strange accidents of nature. They are ancient tools, tested over millions of years, perfected in silence and darkness. But being ancient doesn't make it simple. In fact, the goblin shark may be one of the most specialized predators in the ocean, a creature designed not for speed, not for strength, but for precision. It doesn't chase its prey across open waters. It waits. It senses. It strikes at exactly the right moment. This is not a relic struggling to survive. It is a master of its environment. A quiet reminder that sometimes the oldest designs are the most effective. To understand the goblin shark, you first have to understand its world. A world where light does not exist. Just a few hundred feet below the ocean's surface, sunlight begins to disappear. Colors fade, shadows deepen, and then there is darkness. This is the beginning of the deep sea. A place so vast, so unexplored, that even today we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about these depths. Here, pressure is crushing. Temperatures hover just above freezing, and food is incredibly scarce. Every movement costs energy. Every mistake can mean death. In this environment, survival is not about being the fastest or the strongest. It's about efficiency, and the goblin shark is built for exactly that. Its body tells a story of adaptation. Unlike the powerful, streamlined bodies of sharks you might see near the surface, the goblin shark's body is softer, almost fragile in appearance. Its muscles are less dense, its movements are slower. At first glance, it may seem weak, but in the deep sea, speed is not always an advantage. Moving fast burns energy, and in a place where meals are rare, wasting energy is a risk no creature can afford. Instead, the goblin shark drifts. It moves slowly through the water, conserving every bit of energy it can, waiting, listening, sensing. Because in the darkness, vision is nearly useless. Even though the goblin shark has small eyes, they are not its primary tool for hunting. Its true power lies in something far more advanced. Along its long, flattened snout are thousands of tiny sensory organs known as electroreceptors. These receptors can detect the faint electrical signals produced by other living creatures. Every heartbeat, every muscle movement, they all create small electrical fields. Fields that are invisible to most animals, but not to the goblin shark. In complete darkness, it can sense prey hidden in the sand or drifting silently nearby. It doesn't need to see. It feels the presence of life itself, and that changes everything. Its pale, almost ghost-like color is another result of its environment. Near the surface, bright colors can help animals blend into coral reefs or reflect sunlight. But in the deep sea, there is no light to reflect. Color becomes meaningless. The goblin shark's skin appears pink because its blood vessels lie close to the surface, visible through its semi-transparent skin. It's not designed to look threatening. It's not designed to look beautiful. It's simply designed to exist in a place where appearance doesn't matter. Even its fins reveal how it survives. They are smaller and less rigid than those of faster sharks. This reduces energy use and allows for smoother, more controlled movement in the water. Everything about this animal is built around one principle: do more with less, because in the deep sea, less is all you have. Food does not come often. Sometimes creatures here go days, even weeks, without a proper meal. When something edible appears, there is no room for hesitation. Opportunities are rare, and they must be taken instantly. This is why the goblin shark has evolved into a patient hunter. It doesn't chase, it doesn't waste effort. It waits for the perfect moment when prey drifts just close enough. And then, in a sudden burst of motion, everything changes. But that moment, that explosive strike, is only possible because of the silent, slow, and calculated life it lives in the darkness. A life shaped by pressure, scarcity, and time. The deep sea is not just an environment. It is a filter. Only the most efficient, the most specialized, survive here. And among them, the goblin shark stands as one of the most remarkable examples of how life can adapt to the extreme. Not by becoming faster, not by becoming stronger, but by becoming smarter in the way it uses energy, senses, and timing. In a world where you cannot see your enemy and may not find your next meal for days, that is the ultimate advantage. And it is exactly what has kept this ancient predator alive for millions of years. If the goblin shark's appearance feels strange, its hunting method is something else entirely. Because hidden beneath that long snout, behind rows of thin, needle-like teeth, lies one of the most extreme feeding mechanisms in the entire animal kingdom. At first glance, its mouth doesn't seem that unusual. Like other sharks, it has multiple rows of sharp teeth designed to grip slippery prey. But the real difference isn't in the teeth, it's in what the jaws can do. Unlike most sharks, whose jaws are firmly attached and move in a limited range, the goblin shark's jaws are highly flexible, almost detached in structure. They are connected by specialized ligaments that allow them to extend outward dramatically. And when the moment comes to strike, that's exactly what happens. In a fraction of a second, the jaws launch forward, shooting out from the skull like a spring-loaded trap. It's fast, violent, and incredibly precise. This motion is known as jaw protrusion, but in the goblin shark, it reaches an extreme rarely seen in nature. The extension can be so dramatic that the jaws appear to leave the body entirely, snapping forward to grab prey at a distance, and then just as quickly, they retract back into place, all within the blink of an eye. But why evolve something so unusual? The answer lies in the deep sea. In an environment where food is scarce and opportunities are rare, there is no room for missed chances. Most predators rely on speed to chase down their prey, but the goblin shark doesn't have that luxury. Its body isn't built for fast swimming. So instead of chasing prey, it brings the prey to itself. That explosive jaw extension allows it to capture animals that are just out of reach without needing to move its entire body. It's efficient, it's effective, and it saves precious energy. But the mechanics behind this movement are just as fascinating as the result. Inside the goblin shark's head is a system of elastic ligaments and muscles that store energy, almost like a compressed spring. When the shark detects prey, using its electroreceptors, it prepares for the strike. The muscles contract, the tension builds, and then, in an instant, that stored energy is released. The jaws shoot forward with incredible speed, grabbing the prey before it has time to react. It's not just a bite, it's a launch, and this method works perfectly in complete darkness. Because in the deep sea, prey often doesn't see danger coming. There are no sudden shadows, no clear visual warnings. Just silence, until it's too late. The goblin shark feeds mainly on deep-sea fish, squid, and crustaceans. These animals are often slow-moving, drifting through the water, or hiding near the ocean floor. But even slow prey can escape, if given the chance. That's why the element of surprise is everything. And the goblin shark has turned surprise into an art form. Its entire body works together for this one moment. The sensors locate the target, the body positions itself carefully, the jaws prepare, and then strike. No wasted motion, no second attempt, just one perfectly timed attack. What makes this even more remarkable is how rarely humans get to witness it. Most of what we know about this feeding behavior comes from rare deep-sea footage and observations of captured specimens. In its natural habitat, this moment happens in complete darkness, far beyond the reach of human eyes. It's a hidden performance, a silent explosion of motion in an otherwise still world. And it has remained largely unchanged for millions of years. Think about that. While countless predators have evolved new strategies, while ecosystems have shifted and transformed, the goblin shark has relied on this same method again and again. And it has worked, because in the deep sea, perfection doesn't need improvement. It only needs to continue working. And that's exactly what this creature does. It doesn't overcomplicate survival. It doesn't adapt for unnecessary reasons. It uses what it has and it uses it flawlessly. The extending jaws may look terrifying to us, but they are not designed to scare. They are designed to succeed. A precise solution to a very specific problem. How do you catch prey in total darkness, without speed, without warning? You don't chase it, you let it come close, and then you take it instantly. That is the Goblin Shark's secret. A single explosive moment perfected over millions of years. And in the silent depths of the ocean, it happens over and over and over again. For all that we know about the Goblin Shark, there is even more we don't. In fact, this may be one of the most mysterious sharks on Earth. Not because it's hiding, but because its world is nearly impossible for us to reach. The deep sea is vast, cold, dark, and incredibly difficult to explore. Even with modern technology, only a small fraction of these depths has ever been studied, which means creatures like the Goblin Shark live most of their lives completely unseen. Most human encounters don't happen in the wild, they happen by accident. Sometimes, deep-sea fishing vessels pull up nets from hundreds of meters below, and inside, among unfamiliar fish and strange shapes, there it is, a goblin shark, suddenly brought into a world it was never meant to see. These rare encounters have given scientists brief glimpses into its existence. But they also highlight just how little we truly understand. For example, where do goblin sharks spend most of their time? We know they inhabit deep waters, often along continental slopes. But their exact range remains uncertain. Do they migrate across oceans, or do they stay within specific regions their entire lives? There are clues, but no clear answers. Then there's reproduction, one of the most basic aspects of any species, yet for the goblin shark it remains largely unknown. Scientists believe they may reproduce in a way similar to other deep-sea sharks, possibly giving birth to live young. But no one has ever observed this directly in the wild. No recorded footage, no confirmed breeding grounds, just educated guesses. Even their lifespan is a mystery. How long does a goblin shark live? Decades. Longer. Without consistent observation, it's incredibly difficult to determine. And that's what makes this creature so fascinating. Every answer seems to lead to more questions. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle with most of the pieces still missing. But perhaps the most intriguing part of this mystery is how little the goblin shark seems to interact with the rest of the world. Unlike many other shark species, it doesn't appear in coastal waters, it doesn't cross paths with humans, it exists in isolation. A separate chapter of life unfolding far below the surface, and because of that isolation, it has remained largely untouched by the changes happening above. While oceans face pollution, overfishing, and rising temperatures, the deep sea remains relatively stable, a quiet refuge, but even that is beginning to change. As technology advances, humans are reaching deeper than ever before. Deep sea mining expanded fishing zones. Slowly, the barrier between our world and theirs is shrinking. And with that comes a new question. What happens when we finally reach the places that have remained hidden for millions of years? What impact will it have on creatures like the goblin shark? Right now, we don't fully know, because to protect something, you first have to understand it. And the goblin shark is still, in many ways, a mystery waiting to be solved. Every rare sighting, every unexpected capture adds a small piece to the story, but the full picture is still far from complete. Somewhere in the deep, beyond the reach of light, beyond the reach of constant observation, this ancient predator continues its quiet existence, living a life we can barely imagine, unseen, untracked, uninterrupted. A reminder that even in a world mapped by satellites and explored by machines, there are still places and creatures that remain unknown.